Okay, thank you. Well, welcome everybody. Nice to see you here. This is the special Joint City Council and San Diego Water District meeting at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, September 29, 2021. May we please have a roll call?
Sure. Council member / board member Hensy.
Here.
Board member / council member Lyons.
Here.
Board member / council member Mosca.
Here.
Deputy mayor / president Kranz.
Here.
And mayor / vice president Blakespear.
Here.
The record will show that all members of the city council and all members of the San Diego Water District Board are present. And please note that San Diego Water District Board members receive an independent stipend of $100 for convening water district meetings pursuant to San Diego Water District Resolution number 89-07.
Okay, thank you. So we have one agenda item, and so I will turn it over to our Human Resources Director, Bukowski, to address it.
Hey, good afternoon, President and Mayor and board members and council. Yeah, the item is a wellness incentive. And give you a little bit of background on it. Encinitas was the first city, I think, in San Diego area to implement a mandatory vaccination policy, meant to protect not just our workforce, but the community that we serve. But the incentive is also to recognize the city workforce and the district who never stopped providing essential services during the pandemic. And many are at high risk positions, high risk of COVID exposure, even before a vaccine was available. And the wellness vaccine is really the result of a negotiation between the city, the district, and the labor union. And it's similar to what other local cities have in the area, which I've seen between $1,700 and $7,000. The funding of the wellness incentive can be funded in part by recovery money, but more likely than not, it's going to be able to be covered by vacant salary savings from many vacant positions we have right now. So that's a little bit of background about the incentive, the amounts, and the funding. And if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Mosca.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Tom. Can you let us know a little bit more about the breakdown between, as we're planning this out, what the breakdown between general fund, knowing that it's coming from some of that savings, but the breakdown between general fund and also the CARES dollars?
Well, right now, I think right now it'd be all general fund. We believe that some of it can be funded by the ART money. I don't have a breakdown right now, but I think, again, it could be funded by general fund because that's where the salary savings is going to be. I think we have sufficient salary savings to cover the cost.
But we believe that some CARE dollars funding is coming in that's going to cover some of this. Do we have any kind of estimate as to how much it would cover?
I would, as an estimate, I don't have it handy in front of me, but I would say about 30 or 40% could be covered by the rescue money.
All right, thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I might, about $266,000 would be general fund money. However, all of the entirety, if all of the employees were vaccinated at the $380,000, it's actually all eligible for the American Rescue Act funding.
Thank you, Pam.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment on this?
Yes, we do. We have two. The first speaker is Lynn Gilson.
Hi. Yeah, I was very interested in this in that, it seems to me that most Encinitas employees have, already gotten their vaccine out of a sense of civic duty, just as I did, So I would say, I applaud them, but it would also be like patting myself on the back. We're all in this together and it was simply the right thing to do. I would be a bit embarrassed for me to take $2,500 just for doing the right thing. I know times have been tough for everybody, but this is a really significant chunk of change. And especially because I think the final number really is going to be much higher, because this number does not include whatever negotiations the city is making with the firefighters union. And I'm going to assume that if you give some city employees one thing, you're going to have to give something similar to everybody. And from what I've looked at with the American Rescue Plan, it seems like the city council can use these funds in a myriad of ways for projects that we have ongoing and underfunded in Encinitas, things that have to do with storm water infrastructure, green infrastructure, climate change projects, water recycling, et cetera. So I'm just curious. This just seems like a lot of money. And I was wondering if the city council would want to take another think about how to best use these funds for the good of the whole city. Thank you.
Then our final speaker is Steve Gerken.
Hello, Council. Council, can you hear me?
Hello, Steve. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for hearing me today on Zoom. First time in front of the council doing this. I want to say that I support the city policy of promoting employee wellness through the various programs they have: health insurance, family leave, paid vacation, time off, and other programs. But I'm not happy to see the proposal to use our city's general funds for salaries and federal funds for employee cash incentives. The matter of public health should be mandated for city employees because of the importance of the FDA-approved COVID-19 vaccines in managing this local and global pandemic, as the staff report states. The city council always asks staff what other cities are doing regarding programming. I read just yesterday that LA, San Francisco, even Del Mar mandate vaccination as a term of employment. Has the council asked staff what other cities are mandating vaccines? What other cities are giving cash incentives? It's a standard question that I hope you'll ask. The staff report states that employee salary savings and ARPA are the sources of funds, and you went through what the potential max is less the fire department. But what is done with those salary savings in years past? Are they rolled over to the next year? Can you please address that? Is there a deadline to spend either of these funding sources? And if so, what happens to the funds and when? The wellness program is missing a key component. What if an employee does not want to participate in the program because they don't want to get a COVID-19 vaccine? This is not in the proposal for the wellness program. Otherwise, the wellness program does not go far enough to help keep the public safe. I think this program may be a misappropriation of city and federal funds. The council is asked to redirect salaries without a budget hearing. And I fear that using these federal funds for incentives will result in expensive audits and the possible use of future federal funding. In summary, I object to the expenditure of almost $400,000 of taxpayer money, some of which is my money, for a program that should be part of a public employee employment agreement. If the employees feel they should not be vaccinated, I agree with their right to make a personal choice about their health care. And in doing so, they are free to choose employment that does not endanger the public safety. I recommend the council not approve this program and send it back to staff with recommendations to better protect public safety without the incentives. Thank you.
Mayor, that concludes speakers.
Okay, City Manager, would you like to address some of those comments?
Sure. A couple of things. One, the American Rescue Plan specifically allows for the payment of hero pay or incentives related to the COVID-19 pandemic. So I just want to let you know that this is federally allowable to minimize the use of the funds from the American Rescue Plan, which is about $8 million for the city. We proposed using salary savings first. And the amount of money here is less than 5% of the dollars that the city will receive in funding under the American Rescue Plan. I will say that we do also have a vaccination mandate in the city for our SEIU miscellaneous employees and our unrepresented staff. And it will result in some employees probably leaving the city if they don't adhere to that policy or have an acceptable exemption. So we have taken those measures as well. But I will say that the incentive, even just while talking about it and having it be posted and available, has inspired some of our employees who have not been vaccinated to be vaccinated. Our goal is to have 100% vaccination in City Hall for the safety of the community and our employees. And this is all a part of that effort. And I'll also just add really quickly that the incentive also is a requirement that the employee also agrees to any and all booster shots in the future. We're not quite out of the pandemic and the variants. And so putting all of these things together, we think this is a very appropriate program for the council and the board to consider.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just add to both of the public speakers who have brought up really good points and things that we're hearing in the public and that I've been asked as well. It seems, of course, I haven't done a survey of every city, but we have asked our staff to look at other cities, and it does seem that other cities, they are also offering these types of wellness incentives for people who are vaccinated and as part of their employment. And it's important to also just recognize the reality that we are asking our employees to do something new, and all of the terms of employment are negotiated with the labor union in city and in municipal environments and with our public safety. So it is something that is part of what's called a meet and confer process. And so we're asking people to do things. And although we'd love it if everybody had already done it and it wasn't something that was contested, it is. So having some type of a bonus that says, we recognize this is new. This is really important because we need to protect the public's health. The public comes into our buildings. We go into private homes with our firefighters and with other employees. And there are employees that can't avoid being close to other people, like the maintenance workers who go down into a sewer hole. They have to be close to each other. They have to be interacting with the public. And so this is a combination of recognizing that they worked during the essential worker time. This is part of like a hero pay, kind of wrap it all together. So hero pay, wellness pay, get vaccinated pay. It is in the best interest of our city that we have our city employees all vaccinated. So we are, as a city, I think, right in line with what other cities are doing. And I just think it's important to have that context when you're asking, like, why are we paying anyone to do this? So I wanted to add that. Deputy Mayor, would you like to add something too?
Not much. You said most of what I wanted to say, but this has been a challenge for both the private as well as the public sector to get through the pandemic. We're not out of the woods yet. I think that overall we're likely to see more of an endemic than a pandemic, that this is kind of the new normal. And we want to incentivize the wellness of our employees because they do interact with the public in a big way. So with that, I would move approval of this item.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. And Councilmember Moscow, would you like to make some comments?
Yeah, you guys said it really well. And so I'm not going to repeat what you've said, but I do think that, we're a small city with a small staff. We've invested a lot in our team, and we want to do everything we can to incentivize those team members to get vaccinated, get their boosters if necessary, and to stay with the city of Encinitas and continuing working hard for our city. We've definitely put together rules that if people aren't vaccinated in the future, there's going to be an issue. But I think that we have a responsibility to help starve off that kind of that situation happening. And I think by incentivizing the type of behavior that we want to see, I think is the right course of action. And it sounds like it's financially prudent because we have savings and we have federal dollars that actually encourages this because they see the type of disruption that can come with folks not being vaccinated and getting to that ultimate spot where people are mandated and then they leave is another ginormous disruption for a small city like Encinitas with a small team. So yes, I will support this.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Councilmember Hensy.
Just one comment to add. I think a lot of us were hoping 3 months ago that there would be this moment when everything is good again and we can run through the ribbon of the finish line and rush back into City Hall. And that moment's never really happened. And so in some ways, this is that moment of us recognizing just everything that our city staff has done to keep things moving and put themselves out there on the front lines before the vaccines were ready. And so I just want to communicate a really heartfelt thanks to all of our staff and to our negotiators for getting us here to this point where staff feels good and hopefully that they're getting a really well-earned bonus for all their hard work and also for really upholding a higher level of obligation to all of our city's residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and vote.
Okay, Councilmember Board Member Hensy,
Yes.
Councilmember Board Member Lyons,
Yes.
Councilmember Board Member Mosca,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor / President Kranz,
Yes.
and Mayor / Vice President Blakespear.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you. So that is our only item. So we will be adjourned for 15 minutes or so until we get back on at 6.
Correct. And then make sure you log out of this meeting and there's a new link for the 6 o'clock meeting.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.